Let me ask you something before we even get started. If you could get more house, better amenities, and still be close to South Austin, but your commute got a little bit longer, would you make that trade? Because that's exactly the decision buyers are making right now in Buda. So today we are out in Persimmon, which sits west of I-35 here in Buda, Texas. You have a little bit higher of a price point. However, it makes up for it for the amenities, the trees, and just the absolutely amazing location. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about what Persimmon actually is. It's a master plan community right here in Buda, Texas, and it's probably one of the more important developments that's happening in that area right now. The reason for this is because it's one of the only master plan communities that's happening west of I-35, making the commute into South Austin extremely simple. You're going to have direct access to FM 967, I-35, and SH-45. So getting into South Austin or even Mopac is actually doable from here, which isn't always the case once you start moving further out. We're still early in phase one, so not all of this is completely built out yet, but that is great for you because you get in at the ground floor. When it is completed, we're going to be looking at about 2,100 homes, which is a really large community. If we haven't met yet, my name is Brandon Holley. I'm a broker at Holley Homes Realty here in South Austin. I do a lot of work with new construction in South Austin, Buda, Kyle, and Bastrop. So if you have questions, please reach out to me. And if you need anything at all, I'm here to help. All right, let's talk about the lifestyle here. And I want to be really clear about this because this is where a lot of buyers get tripped up. Right now, Persimmon is in phase one. So what you're seeing today is the beginning, not the finished version. What the builder is planning here is more of a lifestyle driven community. Pool, clubhouse, pickleball courts, trails, green space, all of that is part of the vision. But today you're buying into what this is going to become. And depending on how you look at that, that can either be a positive or something you want to think more carefully about. On the plus side, getting in early usually means you're ahead of when everything is fully built out and priced into the community. As amenities come in, as more homes are built, as the area fills out, you typically see more demand follow that. But the trade-off is you're going to wait for some of it. Now, location-wise, you are just a few minutes from downtown Buda, which already has a lot of what people are looking for: local coffee, restaurants, a main street that still feels like an actual town and not something manufactured. And longer term, there are about 40 acres of commercial planned inside the community, so over time, more of your day-to-day spots should get closer. For schools, you're in Hayes CISD, Buda Elementary, Dahlstrom Middle, and Johnson High School. And like most areas growing this quickly, you'll likely see additional schools added as the community builds out. So the buyer who tends to do really well here is someone who's okay being a little early. They like the idea of what this becomes, the amenities, the layouts, the energy, and they're willing to give it some time to get there. If you're someone who wants everything finished, fully built, and established from day one, this might not be the right timing for you, and that's just part of the decision. Would you rather get into a community early and grow with it, or wait until everything's built out and established? All right, let's step inside and talk about the homes themselves. Milestone is the only builder in the community, and honestly, that simplifies things. You're not trying to compare 3 or 4 different builders. It really comes down to picking the right floor plan and lot for your situation. Now, one thing that surprises a lot of buyers when they come through here is the range. You've got about 18 different floor plans, multiple elevations, and a lot sizes ranging from 50, 55 to 65 feet. That's not super common for a single builder community, and it gives you a lot more flexibility without feeling like you're forcing a layout just to be here. Currently, we are walking through one of the Milestone model homes. This is the Clementine. It is a 2,650 square foot, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, all on one level, plus a study and a 3-car garage. And what I like about it, it flows the way a single story should. Everything connects, nothing feels wasted, and it just makes sense when you walk it. That one's coming in around $708,000. And then entry into the community starts right around $542,000. And a quick side note, this applies to any new construction purchase. Get an independent inspector at frame stage and again before closing. Builder warranties are there, but having your own set of eyes on the home can save you from issues you don't want to deal with later. Now let's talk numbers because this is where everything starts to get real. Entry price out here is about $542,000. Clearwater sits around $623,000. Clementine around $708,000. The HOA is about $60 a month, pretty straightforward. And one thing that stands out here, there's no mud. If you've been looking around Buda or Kyle, you know that's not always the case. So that's one less layer you're dealing with. Now, the tax rate here is 2.865%. So just to give you real context, on a $625,000 home, you're looking at roughly $17,900 a year in property taxes, or about $1,490 a month just in taxes, before your mortgage, before insurance. And this is where I want to pause for a second. Right now, Milestone is offering incentives to help buyers with rates. These incentives are constantly changing, and you do have some negotiating room. If you would like more information, go ahead and reach out to me, and I can help walk you through it. Quick question, if you had $25,000 to work with, would you use it to lower your monthly payment or keep more cash up front? So let's bring this all together and make this really simple. Who is this actually a good fit for? Persimmon tends to make a lot of sense if you're working in South Austin, or if you got some flexibility in when you're commuting. If having amenities, trails, and a more connected neighborhood actually matters to how you live your day-to-day life, this checks those boxes. And if you care about floor plan options, this is a big one. Having this many layouts from one builder gives you real flexibility without having to compromise just to be in the community. Now on the other side of that, if your commute into Central Austin or North Austin is non-negotiable and your schedule is tight every single day, this is where you want to slow down and really think it through, because that drive is going to impact your day more than anything else would we've talked about. And just to give you some context around Buda as a whole, if you're more price sensitive, Sunfield is usually where buyers start. If you're trying to balance price and lifestyle a bit differently, you've got communities like Willow Springs, Prairie Lakes, and Stallion Run. If you want something a little quieter, a little more tucked away, the Colony at Coal Springs and the Porch at Dupree tend to lean that direction. And if your main focus is commute plus price, Turner's Crossing is definitely worth a look. And if you like Milestone as a builder, but you're still figuring out location, they've got other communities like Crosswinds, Porter Country, and Sage Hollow. So part of what I do is help you compare all of those side by side, so you're not just picking a house, you're picking the right setup for your life. Because remember, pick the community for the life you live Monday through Friday. All right, let's simplify this and break it down. Why are buyers actually choosing Persimmon right now? First is the location. You're on this side of I-35 with pretty direct access into South Austin, Mopac, and that whole corridor. And whether someone's relocating or already here, that proximity still matters. Second is timing. This is still an early phase community, so you're getting in before everything is fully built out and before all of that is reflected in pricing across the neighborhood. And third is the flexibility. You've got a wide range of floor plans from one builder, so instead of choosing the community and then settling on a layout, you can usually find something that actually fits how you live. Now on the flip side, here are the things you want to think through. First, taxes. That 2.865% tax rate is real, and that's the one that tends to catch people off guard if they haven't fully run their numbers. So before you make a decision, look at the full payment, not just the price of the home. Second, the commute. From Buda to Austin, you're realistically looking at anywhere from 25 minutes to over an hour, depending on timing. So if you're making that drive every day, especially north of the river, you need to actually test it during peak hours and see how it feels for you. Now going back to what I mentioned at the beginning, the west side versus east side conversation, I don't really look at it as one being better than the other, but what I do pay attention to is buyer behavior. And what we've consistently seen is that areas on this side of I-35 tend to pull more interest from buyers trying to stay closer to South Austin. Persimmon just happens to fall into that path. And one thing I want to clear up, because I hear this a lot, when people hear phase one, they assume that means everything is years away. In most cases, especially here, the core infrastructure and initial amenities are part of the early rollout. That's intentional. It's how builders create momentum in a community before it's fully built out. I hope this video gave you some insight on the community Persimmon, or if you're looking at new construction and trying to compare, that this will help you be able to do that. I spent a lot of time in Buda. I love the city and I love these communities because I think they're bringing something that offers a whole lot to buyers. If you have questions at all, please reach out to me. I am here to help you. If you did find this useful, please hit like and subscribe. Share it with another friend, somebody that's looking. Again, I'm always here if you have questions. My name is Brandon Holley with Holley Homes Realty, and stay tuned. Next week, we'll check out another community, and if you're interested in some other communities in Buda, I have some right here. Thanks for watching.